All right, welcome in, brothers and sisters across this amazing nation. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. The content that I'm about to show you is something that I haven't seen put together yet. I spent all day accumulating this for you guys, so please let me know what you think in the comments field below. But the media has been trying to hide something from you, and it's getting so out of hand, they can't hide it anymore. I'm going to walk you through it right now. Everything will be linked in the description box below, per usual. And again, please let me hear from you guys and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on as you get in here, whether you're watching the live stream of this or you're watching the replay. And thank you for your time, because this is something big, people. And speaking of something big, this is something that is brought to us by SDI, this video's sponsor. Now, I know a lot of you guys like to upgrade and modify your own guns. But why not turn a hobby you love into a career that you love by simply checking out SDI? There's a link in the description box below. They have everything from armorist courses, woodworking and finishes, gunsmithing. Everything is shipped directly to your door. You've got the tools and the courses. It's all from the comfort of your own home. Again, to turn a hobby you love into something you can actually make money from. So it's in the description box below. Check them out, and thank you to them for making this content possible. All right, guys, listen. This is something that's really big. Let me get over here. I'm just going to do this really quickly. If you guys are watching on the replay, I try to do these every once in a while because you guys seem to like the lives. But let's get into this because this is something that I think we need to discuss. So I know you guys are fully aware of that thing called the presidential election, right? Trump v. Harris. Well, there's something that's happening right now that just came out of the New York Times, and a lot of the polling that is pointing into a very broad theme and trend across the spectrum. That's what we're going to talk about. Now, the disclosure I always put out there. We vote no matter what. Vote like you're 5 points behind. The stuff that I'm about to show you is not meant to dissuade you and make you feel comfortable. The stuff that I'm about to show you is so you are aware outside of the propaganda of the media. Now, let's get into this. Guys, welcome in, welcome in. Drop comments if everything works. I think we're all good to go, but let's get it. All right. So this came out of the Interactive Polls account, one of the ones that I follow on X. This is coming from the New York Times and Siena. You can see it right here, okay? Now, as we get into this, this is where it gets very interesting. Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia all are now favoring Trump. Well, now, why is that important? They're all swing states. Why else is that important? This right here. The last poll conducted for Arizona, Harris was +5. Well, now they've got Trump at +5. That's a 10-point swing in Arizona. Again, this could all be conjecture. You need to vote and get everyone you know to vote. Go to North Carolina, something the Harris campaign's banking hard on, +2. Georgia, +4. This is turning into something very interesting. Again, it's from the New York Times. Now, listen to what CNN is saying, because this is where it gets real fascinating. Listen to Chris Acosta talking about what's happening in Arizona. If I can get the clip to play, of course.
One of the things that we should note, and I don't know if we can show this number, I want to put this up on screen. Latino voters have moved away from Harris in Arizona. If you believe this New York Times poll, her lead has shrunk by 11 points in that voting bloc. She was at 60% in August, now 49% now. One of the things that we should...
All right, so why is that incredibly, massively important? Because these are swing states that she has to win in order to prevent Trump from being president in her own objective, okay? I'm about to walk you through this step by step because we got a lot of tabs to hit really quickly. But that's just what they released today in their reaction. So they're not too happy about that one. Now, let me continue on with this path. Something else that you weren't supposed to see right now. This is coming out of Ohio, and this is Senate polling. Bernie Moreno is +2 over an incumbent, Sherrod Brown, in Ohio. Now, you guys may or may not be aware, but Ohio was not supposed to be on the swing state. Ohio was supposed to be a safe blue incumbency for the Democrats. He's +2 on the Republican side. Right, Rick Scott is +8 in Florida. Everything is flying in the face of everything they've told you. Florida's going to turn blue. Texas is going to turn blue. Ohio's a safe bet. We might be able to hold on to the Senate. Not with that kind of stuff. Again, we're incrementally working through this, and this is where the trend starts to develop, and this is why it's so important. So I just showed you that piece from Ohio in the Senate race. Minnesota. Minnesota is one of the bluest states in the nation. Okay? Tim Walz, her running mate, Harris's running mate, is from there, the VP contender. That race is within 5. That's extremely unusual. I'm not saying Minnesota is going to go red. Don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. However, extrapolate out the very thin margins and deep blue bastions and apply those to purple states. Again, when you go over to Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, it's starting to show through. I've got another one I'm going to show you. Again, spent all day putting this stuff together. Trump ties Harris in Virginia, poll of 1,000 adults. Trump 45, Harris 45. Just so you know, for a timestamp and comparison, Biden won Virginia by 10 points in 2020. She's now tied with him in a blue safe state. You've also got Ohio Senate that's going the wrong direction. You got Minnesota, which is a skinnier margin than they like. Guys, this is the theme right here. Let me show you some more stuff. It's from Real Clear Politics. Then I'll tie it together with our gun rights. Minnesota, Trump v. Harris, exact same thing. You've got 5.3, that's the average, 5.3. 49.3 against 44. That is extremely unusual in Minnesota. Again, not dissuading you from voting, not saying anyone's going to win. Vote like you're 5 points behind. However, all of these things are pointing in a trend, and I'm going to get to Pennsylvania in a second. All right, now this next one. New York, Trump v. Harris. Thank you so much for the super chat, Timothy. I appreciate it. As we get into the New York Trump v. Harris, okay, why is this only plus 13? Biden won by 24 points. So why exactly is it only 13? That's a similar margin you're seeing in reduction from Minnesota. Now you're seeing it in New York. You're seeing it in Virginia. You're seeing it in Ohio. Are you catching the trends and themes that I've been putting together all day? You've got a national trend that is lighter in blue bastions for Democrat support, and purple states that they need for battlegrounds are going red. It's a consistent trend. Again, vote like you're losing, get everyone you know to vote. But as we go on to the last piece, and then I'll tie it in together to where we're going to kind of end up on this, 2024 national Trump v. Harris. That is a plus 2.2 for Harris, and this is the important piece. You see right there where I've highlighted Clinton 3.0, Biden 7.1, 7.1, the 4.1 point difference, and Harris is below Clinton. You know the difference between Clinton and Biden? Yeah, Clinton lost. Well, you know what I'm saying. No. But Clinton lost, and she's lower than Clinton is at this exact same time in 2016. In 2020, she is about 5 points lower. Understand what you're seeing here. On a national trend, now from multiple different points, we have a degradation of support on the blue side of the aisle. Not saying it's going to translate to election day. You got to vote like you're losing. This doesn't even matter. But what I am saying is the lies and the propaganda that are being force-fed to you from the mainstream media around how around Harris is the second coming of Barack Obama and all the joy and happiness is a bunch of crap. You have now seen everything from the swing states to Ohio to the Senate races in Ohio to New York to Minnesota to Virginia. All of these things are extremely unusual. Now, where does that put us for what we're talking about? Because we are specifically 2A focused. Right now, the Republicans are and have been heavily favored to win the Senate. Heavily. It was always either going to be 51-49 or it was going to be 52-48. That was what it was going to be based off the states that came up. That was just the way that they fell. Montana and West Virginia are pretty much going to flip. However, now you got Ohio in the mix. That's interesting. So the Senate, let's just put it over there. If Trump is truly basically carrying support at this rate, and this actually translates to the actual voting totals, you're talking about a Trump advantage. Also, with this level of advantage, you've got down ballot things that the Democrats are going to start worrying about. And that money that she's making, Kamala Harris, is going to translate directly down into the actual down ballot races for the House. It is completely possible, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen, so make sure you vote. I'm going to say it every time I do a video like this. It is completely possible that you have a Trump presidency. It is completely probable that you have a red Senate. And if this shows up and this voter totals comes out in the actual House races down ballot, you may have an actual trifecta. I'm not saying landslide, that word doesn't exist. But you may actually have a trifecta. Imagine what that could do for not only the border policy, the economics, but also for our 2A. If you didn't have a House that was going to consistently impeach him, if you had a Senate that was going to confirm his judicial nominees, and you had a president who was hell-bent on fixing something. Guys, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I'm going to jump over to the comments really quick just to see what you guys are up to. Thanks for the 2A leadership. You're greatly appreciated. I appreciate you, Timothy. I just got a Democrat commercial. It happens. New York, yep, we hit that one. Ohio flipping will be interesting. Yeah, that's exactly correct. You guys are on it. What's going on in Virginia? So Virginia is quite literally, I don't think that it's necessarily going to flip, but look at it from in the broad base of trends of what I just covered, and you've got something that's starting to show something underlying on the trend level on a national stage that is happening. Something is happening. I don't know what it's going to translate to, but you're seeing it, and the media is starting to freak out. We're going to have a lot of that coverage coming up this week, probably, because they're going to freak out. But that's what I've got for you guys. I wanted to rush that out just because all the trends, I find it personally interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field, and I'll see you on the next one. Braden, later.